Hey guys, how are we? Well, I just wanted to shoot a quick video and I thought of a label, and it's not going to be a popular video. I already know that it's not going to be a popular video, but it's really, I thought the best title would be The Divine Order. And the reason why I'm sort of wanting to bring that up, and it's going to be one of those dad talks. A friend of mine, Nick, says it's your Bill Cosby videos. And when he first said that, I said, what the hell are you talking about? Like Bill Cosby? Like Cosby Sweater, or, you know, the other things that he's known for? And he goes, no, it's the friendly dad talk. So I want to have a friendly dad talk, a patriarchal type talk with you. You know, today I was like, I love my swimming. I've always loved my swimming. I'm actually very good at swimming, and I've been swimming since I was, you know, yay high to a grasshopper, and it's one of those things I enjoy doing. The other thing I really enjoy is my watches, and yeah, absolutely love watches, love swimming. Anyway, I was swimming this afternoon, and I just hate being interrupted when I'm swimming. Just really despise someone getting in my lane and being a slow swimmer and whatever. But anyway, I had this Chinese guy that I actually spoke to the other day, and you know, he was struggling to swim. Very nice guy, and I just sort of said to him, "Do you want me to give you a hand, you know, with some of the basics?" And one of the things that you'll find with new swimmers or people who aren't very good at swimming is that they thrash around. They don't glide through the water. They don't move with the water. They fight against it. And it kind of reminds me of the situation that the whole world's going through at the moment. Everyone's fighting against each other. They're fighting against their internal forces. They're fighting against the unchecked sort of power of, you know, supranational powers and authorities like the World Economic Forum and the Davos crowd, and, you know, Charles Schwab and his pack of lunatics, and Bill Gates and all the crazy crap that guy gets up to. You feel absolutely powerless. Like even I feel absolutely powerless sometimes. And Robert Gillespie sent me a message in a video link the other day, and it's stuff that I already know and have practiced for many, many years. It's sort of really watching what comes out of your mouth and what you're dwelling on. And it kind of got me thinking, particularly with this young guy who's learning to swim. You can fight against the water, you can fight against all of these forces that are out there. I mean, life is like that. There's a lot of things that you can fight against. You don't really need to fight against these things. And it, you know, it's like you can have situations where you come up against people. They can upset you, they can irritate you, they can say things that really hurt you. And I remember years ago, my cousin said to me, and in front of other family members one Christmas, "Oh, you're just absolutely irresponsible." And I just thought, who the hell are you? I see you once a year at Christmas. You don't know anything about from what I do, and you're jealous because of the lifestyle that I live, and you want to say that I'm irresponsible. And it's something that really goaded on me for a long time. Now, I have a process where, you know, if you follow the channel, you know I'm a very devout Christian, but I also know that I can't carry all those burdens. People upset you all the time. And if you carry those for years, people can upset you, they can abuse you, they can punch you, they can sexually abuse you, physically abuse you, steal from you. If you carry those burdens, they will actually bring you down. Now, I remember studying years ago one unit at uni called psychodynamic psychotherapy. And basically, I found something really interesting in that unit, and that was they put people with terminal cancer through intense psychotherapy and found that I think it was 75–80% of them, the cancer disappeared after they went through that intense period of psychotherapy and dealt with a lot of the unforgiveness, a lot of the jealousy, and a lot of those toxic feelings and emotions that they were going through. And through this period of time, things are very, very difficult, and they're going to get a lot more difficult. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but swimming kind of reminds me of that. Is like if you want to fight against water, and the Chinese say that water is the perfect element. It's formless. You can glide through the water if you're prepared to move with it. And that's why I can swim, and good swimmers make it look effortless, because they're gliding through the water. They're actually using the water to push off and actually use that as power, as opposed to trying to fight against the water and trying to beat it. And you see bad swimmers and they make these massive splashes in the water and their legs are going everywhere, and whereas you see a good swimmer, there's hardly any splashes, almost no sound, and they seem to effortlessly glide through the water. And that's what we need to be when we're going through life. We need to not let life get us into a tizzy, into a frenzy, fighting against every little force that comes against us. People's attitudes, people's words, people's actions. The best thing that you can do is during your quiet time of a morning is actually say, you know what, that thought keeps coming to my mind. It's occupying my time. It's occupying my thought process. It's taking away that creative capacity, and all I'm dwelling on is that unforgiveness, that jealousy, that resentment. You don't want that. So in the morning and in the evening, and any time that you think of those thoughts throughout the day, for me personally, I consciously sit there and I go, you know what, Lord, I am sorry that I'm thinking and feeling this way. I'm going to hand that over to you. And I visualize handing that feeling, that offense, over to Christ. And you can call it the divine mind or whatever it is, whatever your faith is. But for me, it's Jesus. I literally sit there and say, Lord, this is a burden that only God or the divine can handle. I can't handle this, and I can't carry this. I'm not going to let this weigh me down and weigh my spirit down any longer. It's something that I can't personally carry. And so I physically see myself saying, you know what my cousin said to me all those years ago, I'm just going to hand that comment over to and put it on Christ. I'm just going to accept life and life abundantly. And I envision myself, visualize myself taking all that life has to offer me: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control, long-suffering. It's so much better, and life is so much better when you do that, rather than carrying all those terrible burdens and those thoughts continually coming up and subconsciously reinforcing just some really negative and nasty things that occur in your life. And if you keep dwelling on it, it keeps manifesting. So you've got to get rid of that out of your consciousness. And the best way that I can do it is actually, I consciously visualize myself giving it to Jesus, and then I pray for that person. I pray blessing over that person who has offended me. And I remember a couple of years back, I was in a very high sort of executive position, and my boss at the time, well, he wasn't my boss, he'd sort of come out of my position and was moved sideways, and I sort of came up. And this guy had connections, and he just created hell for me. in regards to trying to do my professional work. And I remember just feeling absolutely irritated every day. Anyway, I ended up leaving that particular job. It was just too much. And they were restructuring, and this was around 2008. They had a downsize because of the GFC, and this is my ticket out of here. I actually went out and bought a $500-600 pair of earphones for this gentleman, because I'd known during a meeting that we'd have with fellow co-workers that he'd said, oh, I really want those earphones and I can't afford it, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So I actually went out and bought those earphones for him. I sat him down and I just said, look, what you've done to me is not actually fair, but I forgive you. And as a token of peace and my forgiveness, I want you to have these earphones. That absolutely put that nail in the coffin. As an issue I don't have to think about today. But I just want to give you an example of how I've had to deal with really difficult circumstances in the past. It's not easy, it's all sacrifice. But when you do actually deal with these things well and you learn that skill, it's like gliding through the water seamlessly. You can glide through life, and these little irritations that come every now and then, they don't irritate you so much. They're not taking away your energy. Because really what you want to do, the name of the game of life, you need to have as much creative space in this mind as possible. You need to be able to create your future. And that comes through visualizing things. And if you've got attachments through jealousy and unforgiveness and resentment, pinning you back to past eras, you'll never get headway. So you need to consciously go back, and you might have to go through 50 years worth of unforgiveness, and those people might already be dead. But if you visualize just handing that over to the divine, or to Jesus if you're a Christian, and saying, I can't hand that, that takes divine power and I don't have that, I am powerless, but I am powerful in Christ, and I'm going to visualize my future, all of a sudden you find that thought, that unforgiveness no longer starts to rear its head and pop up all the time. And there's the ways that you can do that if they've already died or deceased. You can write them a letter and then burn the letter. It's a good way to verbalize how you feel and what you're thinking and how it's affected you. And it has to be done, or you can sit down and tell a loved one who is going to be non-judgmental. When you're doing that, just pick somebody who doesn't criticize other people. Have someone who is safe. And the best way to tell a safe person is whether or not they criticize and talk badly about other people. And if they do that about other people, they're going to do that to you. So you want somebody who's fairly even-keeled and very generous and very gracious. And if you don't have anyone like that, as I said, write it down on a letter and then burn the letter, or throw it in the rubbish after you've written it out and then spoken it out. And it's just one of the ways that I use. It's not going to be perfect. Look, everyone has their own ways of doing it, but I think it's really poignant for this point in time to not sort of take a lot of those burdens and a lot of those issues on board. You want to really just release people. You want to release those circumstances as quickly as possible. I did do a video before about coping with loss. And that's important as well, because you've got to hold things with an open hand. It's not yours. God gave it to you and God can take it away, and either way is fine. It's okay. Life goes on. Particularly when you lose loved ones. I've lost quite a few loved ones, and it's never easy when you lose them, but they're in a much better place, and one day you'll see them again, and that's what I take hope and comfort in. We're not here for long. So there's a word, or sorry, a phrase that keeps coming back to me over the years, and that is I've not passed this way before, but tread lightly. So it means you don't leave your footsteps. So you've not been this way before. You're not going to pass this way again. Tread lightly. Don't leave any evidence that you've been there. And you know, that's a very gracious way to go about life. I probably really destroyed that explanation, but anyway, I hope you get the gist of it. But I just wanted to really touch on things and just say, you know, don't forget the divine order. We can be caught up in our mind because it's all out here. Oh, Donald Trump has been raided, or the elite are causing massive problems for people. Oh, they're going to collapse the financial system. And we are powerless to have any control over that. But the one thing that you do control is your mind. Your mind needs to be as much openness as possible so you can visualize your future. And if you've got all this stuff, unforgiveness and concerns about the wider world, you're going to find yourself really stuck down and overwhelmed and feel absolutely, completely powerless. But you are powerful, and that is when you forgive all of those things of the past, you hold no resentment, no jealousy, you're thankful for the things that you have, and it releases you to visualize your future and create a very bright and beautiful future for yourself and for your family. It's a great skill to have, and as I said, it's like swimming. You don't want to have other things hold you down or weigh you down and hold you back. You want to glide through life very easily, and the best way to do that is to hold short accounts. Anyway, I hope that has sort of explained things for you. And I think that's the divine order. You know, we haven't passed this way before, and we will not pass this way again. Tread lightly. Be gracious in the way that you go about life. People can say some really terrible things, and people have said some bloody nasty things to me over the years. And I think the higher up you go, the more critical and the more vicious things people will say. And I've just learned, I forget them. I put that over to the side. I say, Christ, Jesus, I can't handle this. It's too much for me. I'm giving this to you. You're divine, you're infinite. You have the power and the capacity to deal with it. And I thank you and praise you for all that you have for me. And I accept that. I'm going to focus on that. And it's amazing. I don't even think about all those things. So, I mean, there's nasty things that are put in the comments every now and then. And, you know, my wife gets concerned because she thinks, oh, you know, there's YouTubers in Korea that have committed suicide because of the nasty things that people have said. I genuinely don't care. And I forget things very quickly, which is great, you know, but it's a learnt habit. And I just wanted to encourage you, if you are struggling with stuff that's happened 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, it's water under the bridge. Visualize yourself handing that over to Jesus, and you'll know. Just keep a mindfulness of those reoccurring thoughts. You'll have reoccurring thoughts, and those are the ones that you want to really sit down and address. And I've had some moments where, when I've handed that over, those very hurtful words and events, particularly from my younger years, and visualized handing them over to Jesus and saying, Jesus, please, you know, just take these. I can't bear that burden. I have at times, not always, very rarely, but I have at times had almost like a supernatural sobbing, just release. And I'm not afraid to say, yeah, I cry, absolutely. Real men cry. You'll never see me cry in public. About the only time that I cry is the loss of a loved one. But yeah, you know, it's things can really hurt you. And that's normal, that's okay. It's nothing to feel ashamed about. I certainly don't feel ashamed about. It's no use drinking that to try and push it down. you know, drinking as much alcohol and taking as much drugs or getting into as much gossip and slander as you can. You don't want to do that. What you really want to do is you want to forgive people, you want to move on to the next phase of life, and you want to envision as much purity and good things, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control, long-suffering. I can just roll that off my tongue very easily. Why? Because I memorize that, and in my head I'm meditating love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control, long-suffering. I'm visualizing that, and I'm visualizing that for me. I'm visualizing that for you. And I pray for you guys every day. So love you, and I hope that finds you well. I hope it encourages you. And I know, look, this video is not down everyone's alley. It's not what brings joy to people, but we're going to go through very difficult times. You will feel disempowered, but there is one way to feel empowered, and that is to control what you can control. That's your thoughts and your heart. And you can have a beautiful, amazing future. Believe it, you can. So anyway, guys, love you, and I'm going to speak to you soon. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, do that. Helps me out. And you can join the discussion over at Facebook, The Overseas Exiles. And yeah, we're going to go from there. All right, guys, love you and leave you. Speak to you soon.